Afternoon everyone. A number of you have been in touch asking us to kind of do some footage on shot game, and it's obviously an area that a number of us struggle on, myself included, from time to time, so we thought it might be a worthwhile lesson to cover today. Probably see two issues with people when they're chipping. One is the person who's desperate to get the ball up in the air, so we can see an action where it looks a little bit like this, with the body weight falling back towards the back foot, desperately trying to add loft to the club face and scoop that golf ball up in the air. And the other one is that person who's desperately trying to make sure they make contact, but trying to steer the ball towards the target, so the action looks a little bit like this, with the body becoming separated, or the hands and arms becoming separated from the body, and trying to steer the ball towards the target. Both techniques can work, and the frustrating thing for a lot of people is that, particularly in their heyday, when their timing was good and they weren't worried about the consequences, they probably chipped really well. But under pressure, when the nerves get the better of them, or the fiver's on the line, then we start to struggle. So I wanted just to show you something which I think might help. So with my trusty hula hoop here, you can see I've just got the alignment stick on the bottom. I'm going to turn around just so that you can kind of see this. If the alignment stick's at the bottom of the arc, so you imagine the club's travelling around this arc, if the club impacts the ball at the bottom of it, then obviously the alignment stick is pointing straight towards our target. The issue is that if we're that person who's trying to scoop the ball up in the air, trying to help it in the air, you can see that as I tilt that hula hoop, actually that club face now would be pointing significantly left. So even if we were to actually make contact with the ball as we're trying to scoop it up in the air and hit up on it, potentially the club face is pointing left and we're hitting the shot significantly left to target. It's not an uncommon one with this technique actually to see double hits, because we've added so much loft that we actually scoop it up in the air and hit it again. Equally, that person that's trying to steer the ball towards the target and tries to push the hands forwards, well, typically they'll be hitting down on the ball a little bit, and again you can see now that the club face is pointing a little bit right, or the direction that the club's travelling in, I should say, the swing direction is travelling a little bit right. So we need to then make compensatory movements for it. Now, with the design of our modern wedge, manufacturers have taken into account an awful lot of this, and they've changed the grinds and the bounces on the sole to try and make them as versatile as possible, or to tailor them to specific shots that people are going to hit. So when you choose your wedges, it's not necessarily just a case of saying, well, I play Cobra club, so therefore I'm going to have the Cobra wedge, or Titleist, whatever it happens to be. You probably want to have a discussion with us about the bounce and about the grind and the shots that you like to hit. But from a coaching perspective, from a learning perspective, the biggest tip I can give any of you is to actually start to appreciate where the low point of your swing is, and then position the ball accordingly. So if you're wanting to hit it lower, you arguably need less loft on the club. Now you can manipulate that, or you can choose a lower lofted club. If you're going to manipulate the loft with the club by putting the ball position back, then you need to take into account where that club's going to be travelling as it hits the ball. And equally, if you're trying to hit the Hollywood shot, as I call it, the Mickelson, the flop shot or whatever, and we're trying to add loft, then again we need to be conscious of what's happening. So you need to have control of where that low point of the swing is going to be. Now that's not only just in this orientation, but one of the other problems that we see an awful lot with people is that as they go to hit the shot, the whole body moves towards the ball. Now that low point now has moved this way, moved further away than where the golf ball was at. So for that person to actually hit the shot, put a ball down for it. So if we've set up in this position, then as we go to hit it, the whole body moves forward. Arguably, the clubs now should be hitting the ground here. So we then got to make some kind of compensation to try and scoop that ball up in the air. So being able to control where that low point of the swing is in terms of the distance from your body this way, and also in terms of that arc, is really, really crucial. Now you can do that just with standing in a bunker, hitting some sand. You could put some sand on your grass. You could put some tees down, just anything that's going to allow you to see the impact of the ground, hitting wet grass. Anything that's going to allow you to see where that impact's going to be. So it might not be on the golf course anytime soon, but that's an area that you could be practicing, hopefully in your back garden, or dare I say it, in the house, that might well make a big difference. Hope that helps. Just to finish up, Flynn and Brodie wanted to just do a wee picture in support of the NHS, so they just want to finish it for you. So he's just going to put his golf ball in. You've put it in to finish the end, Flynn? Yep. Okay. What does it say, Flynn and Brody?
NHS. It's NHS, not